Welcome to Cultivate Communications' latest podcast series, 7 Steps to Accelerate Sales. Your hosts, Ethan Vandehey and Bob Wendt, will take you inside the 7 critical steps you can take to fast-track your revenue growth. You'll learn a proven marketing process that'll take your sales to new heights. Today, they'll be examining the 7th and final step, where you'll learn tips and tricks for dealing with the metrics of your campaigns. Testing, measuring, and optimizing everything you do in the marketing of your business. Here are Ethan Vandehey and Bob Wendt.
Hello, everybody, and welcome to our final episode here. I have Bob Wendt alongside me today, diving into Cultivate Communications marketing framework, which we're excited to call the 7 Steps to Accelerate Sales. Like we talked about throughout the whole episodes here, we are trying to help you accelerate your growth and achieve your growth through these episodes. And one is that we're diving into today is optimizing your campaigns with some testing and some measuring. So we're going to dive into the expert over here. Bob, why don't you tell us a little bit about all these things, because I've asked you about the 6 steps so far. And now we're running, my campaign's moving along. Why do I need to test? Why do I need to measure? What is this all about?
Right. So as much work as you do in trying to make sure that you're just killing everything that goes into successful campaign or campaigns related to achieving the revenue objectives that you have in front of you, you know, you never really are going to know how it's going to play out until you're actually in market, right? And so the nice thing about marketing today is there's so many tool sets, there's so many data sources that you can use to understand what's happening to your campaigns, what's happening to your messaging. It could be, site visits, it could be conversions, it could be engagement, it could be downloads. I mean, there's just so much, and there's a lot of customers today, or prospect customers today, are really going to kind of sit in the background a little bit. So having business intelligence tools or other tools that really kind of help you understand, what's happening with your campaigns, your emails, your digital campaigns, is really going to help you kind of flush out some critical pieces. So again, there is so much out there that you can apply that's going to bring insights to what you're doing, just to make your decision making just much more effective and much more relevant with regards to how you're making decisions going forward. So that could be again, decisions about channel choices, about cost of acquisition, if you're in the digital, if you're using some digital advertising or digital marketing. Again, a lot of people talk about, site traffic, right? Site traffic's great, but are people converting? Are they asking for that demo? Are they requesting some additional information? You have to make sure that you have the right metrics in place, really, that you can use to make really, data-centric decisions about what you're doing from a marketing standpoint. So against which audiences are responding, which audiences aren't, what are you really doing to kind of creating a marketing qualified lead versus a sales qualified lead, and how does that really again eventually relate to a conversion? And within that, there's a lot of different components, but at the end of the day, as a marketer, our job is to kind of create opportunities and drive those into sales, and then work with sales to really kind of make sure that they can get those clients to the finish line as quickly as possible. And all the metrics that you need to do that are available to you, but it still requires you to test, understand what's happening, and then as you go forward, is just kind of work to optimize what you're doing to the best of your ability.
Yeah, you talked right there about audience segmentation, messaging, a lot of these valuable things, especially channels and timing. My question for you though is, you talked a lot about the why, but now it's kind of a question about the what. Like, what should I test and measure for the best data? Because like you said, there's so much data out there. You got site traffic, click through, all of that stuff. But what should these organizations be really looking at?
So really, at the end of the day, it's about conversions. It's really about, getting that lead through the system and having sales close on it, right? Everything else in between there, it can be noisy, right? You can get confused. You don't really know how to attribute that sale sometimes, so the data makes it a little bit more confusing. But having these data sets in place and testing them, again, are really going to help you accelerate, right, your time to sale. It's really going to help you, ensure that, you're acquiring that sale in the most efficient way possible. And again, you have to have a scorecard. So, you really have to know, where you're at. And so from a big picture standpoint, again, marketing qualified leads to sales to conversions. But within that, again, channel optimization, A/B testing, try different things with your creative, try different things with your content, your subject lines. All those should be components of what you're putting in place in really to test, measure, and optimize what's going on from a marketing standpoint.
Yeah, you hit a big thing on there is testing, like keywords, taglines, like all of that stuff. And the biggest thing that a lot of people are probably thinking about is, how do they start? Is this something they create a Google Analytics account and dive into that, but then that looks confusing, or they go get SEMrush, or what is something like, how do they start this?
So again, I think, data is like, it can be addictive, right? You start with something and you get a little bit of insight and then you want a little bit more. Again, in this world, in this day and age, business intelligence tools are critical. Tools like HubSpot, tools like Zoom, you mentioned SEMrush. Again, it can also be overwhelming, but having a basic set of tools that you believe are truly going to give you some kind of temperature of what's really happening are really a good place to start. And then again, as that data comes in, I know from my experience, you're going to want a little bit more here. You're going to want to understand that there. And again, it's the process as a marketer that you go through to get to the point where, hey, you feel really good. I mean, we started this campaign, to really talk about accelerated sales growth. But at the end of the day, it's about predictable revenue. And the more you can predict based on what you're learning about the outcomes, the outputs, then the more likely that you're going to be able to predict the revenue that can be generated from it. So again, all these steps are super critical. They're not hard. They don't have to be hard. The worksheets are intended to kind of just get you started. But if you follow these steps, I can guarantee you that you're going to have a rate of growth, an accelerated level of growth that is going to outpace your competitors. And that's just the advantage that all of us as marketers are looking for.
Absolutely. So you can download the test, measure, and optimize dashboard example to get some ideas, get some perspective, some thought, and most importantly, understand what metrics that'll keep an eye on your next campaign or potential current campaign if you're doing that right now.
And all these videos and worksheets are on our website, 7 steps to accelerated sales.com. And we hope you enjoyed them, and we hope that we have a chance to talk.
You've just finished watching Step 7 of the 7 Steps to Accelerate Sales podcast with your hosts, Ethan Vandehey and Bob Wendt. Remember, you can download all of the worksheets for the entire series and watch the entire series by visiting 7stepstoaccelerate sales.com.